It is a book that has rocketed up bestseller lists this summer. The Chain by Adrian McKinty is a chilling thriller that has spooked readers worldwide, especially parents. But perhaps even more riveting than the story of The Chain is the backstory of the author.
This part of Massachusetts is dense with literary meaning.
Adrian McKinty's The Chain begins on picturesque Plum Island, Massachusetts, a small beach community about an hour north of Boston. It is an area soaked in sunlight and slow tradition, not the sort of place most people would pick for a dark thriller. But for McKinty, it was perfect.
You feel that there's this kind of terrain, that this is like, there's something uncanny in this world.
At the center of The Chain is a young mother named Rachel, whose daughter is kidnapped, and who in turn is asked to kidnap someone else if she ever wants to see her child again.
This is her first steps into the moral abyss, really. She considers herself a good person, but then she starts actually thinking about doing this thing for real.
The desperation McKinty's main character feels is unnervingly familiar.
What was the lowest point?
I think the lowest point for me in the last 5 years was about 2 and a bit years ago. For one reason or another, we ended up being evicted from our house. And when you're evicted, the landlord comes in and he puts all your stuff on the sidewalk of your house. And I remember all my kids' like furniture and all their little clothes and stuff were all out on the sidewalk of the house. My little daughter Sophie turned to me and said, "Daddy, is everything going to be okay?" And I looked at her and I said, "Of course everything's going to be okay. Everything's going to be fine." But meanwhile, in my heart and my head, I'm thinking, well, is everything going to be okay? I don't know.
What is that like when your daughter asks you if things are going to be okay after you just got evicted from your home?
It makes you feel horrible as a father, as a dad. The number one responsibility of a dad is to make sure that his kids are safe and happy. And when what you've been doing in your life has led to these set of circumstances, you just feel like a complete and utter failure.
But you were a successful writer. I mean, you had written a lot.
Yeah. I was a successful mid-list writer.
McKinty has written over a dozen novels. None have been hits like The Chain.
I've been coming here since 1993, so 26 years.
And now you're a bestseller here.
It almost never happened after he was evicted.
I decided, okay, that's going to end. I'm going to stop writing. I'm going to stop being a fraud. I'm going to stop going on this male ego trip that I was enjoying. And I'm going to get a job. I went the very next day to a job center and I got work in a bar that afternoon. I started bar work, I started doing bicycle delivery guy, and I enrolled in Uber, which my wife thought was hilarious because I'm a terrible driver. At the bottom of Plum Island.
Bartending and Uber driving may have helped pay some bills, but they were not his bliss, as he was reminded by fellow author Don Winslow. Winslow connected McKinty to his Hollywood agent and screenwriter Shane Salerno. Salerno convinced McKinty he had a big hit inside, a story set in America. The idea behind The Chain is something McKinty's been thinking about for years. It's a combination of those hokey chain letters you might remember from childhood and kidnappings that have taken place in Mexico, where someone's allowed to substitute themselves for a loved one who's been kidnapped. We won't tell you much more so we don't ruin any big surprises. But the book's pacing is relentless. As Don Winslow says, it's Jaws for parents.
At the center of this book is a very powerful female character that is Rachel.
Mm-hmm.
And someone who's not really an expert at kidnappings or anything else, but is forced to become one.
Yeah, here's a mother who literally goes down into hell to get her daughter back from the darkness.
That's apocalyptic.
Yeah, it is apocalyptic.
The book starts here.
Yeah, more or less at this corner here. When
McKinty set The Chain in a region that has been home to literary elite. T.S. Eliot, Robert Frost, and John Updike. He tosses their names around with reverence.
And here you are showing up in your Ulysses Joyce
t-shirt. Much to my wife's horror, she said to me, "You can wear this in the plane, but for God's sake, don't wear this in the interview."
And you're wearing it in the interview.
So I'm in huge trouble. If this ever airs, I'm in huge trouble.
It's airing right now.
Oh my God.
McKinty's newly energized life is a joy to watch. and a timeless lesson.
If somebody's out there watching this and maybe they're ready to give up on something, not feeling inspired, what do you say to them?
Yeah, well, my story is completely the story of the writer who had quit. And it's the oldest story in the world. Never, never, never quit, because you just don't know. I tell everybody this: do not quit.
Ever.
Ever.
I am writing. I am writing. I'm doing it. I have been threatening to do it. I'm doing it.
There you
Thank
go.
you, Adrian
Don't quit.
McKinty.
I just want to read the book. It sounds fantastic.
You can move through it in a weekend or a day because it moves that quickly. And now it's been optioned into a movie by Paramount.
Yikes,
So you'll see
that's
it up on the
awesome.
big screen likely soon. And McKinty then is Irish.
Right.
But then spent a lot of time on Plum Island when he visited relatives, including his stepmom, over the years. And so that's why there was that connection to this place. And there is this eerie, it's a beautiful place.
Right.
But there is a little bit of an eeriness to it at times, like at sunrise, sunset, where you can see
Right
this
what you know.
Captures it.
Right what you know.
Yeah, that's right.